I know documentaries aren't everybody's thing, but you'd think more people would watch these considering they're so short. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. Today, we're going to be diving into some Oscar-related content. Most people usually see some movies that are nominated for Best Picture or are up for the acting categories, but there are some categories that go under the radar for the majority of people, none more so than the short films. There are 3 short film categories, and although they do get released in theaters, they don't make it out everywhere, so they're sometimes hard for people to track down. I'm fortunate enough to be able to go see these films, so I wanted to do a 3-part Rankography series this year to give everybody a sense of these shorts, even if you don't have a chance to make it out to see them yourself. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, ranked lists, and trailer reactions. First up in my 2020 Oscar-nominated shorts Rankography series, the documentaries. Of all the short film categories, I think this is the one that gets the least amount of attention, and so its availability reflects that. There was only a single theater in my entire state playing these films ahead of the ceremony, so I had to take a bit of a road trip to check these ones out. The 5 nominees are In the Absence, Learning to Skateboard in a Warzone, if you're a girl, Life Overtakes Me, St. Louis Superman, and Walk, Run, Cha-Cha. Since this is a rankography, I'm going to be ranking these shorts, but remember, this is just my ranking, not the ranking, so be sure to post your own personal ranking of the 2020 documentary short subject Oscar nominees in the comments below. Coming in at number 5, Walk, Run, Cha-Cha. This is a US submission and was directed by Laura Nix. The short tells the story of a couple who immigrated to California from Vietnam in the late 80s, and it focuses on their relationship and some of the difficulties of immigration, but overlays it with the story of the 2 of them learning how to professionally dance. We get a little bit of footage of their home life, but most of what we see is them dancing at a studio. So I'll admit that dancing is not interesting to me in the least, which might have set this film back for me a little bit from the get-go. It's definitely not a bad short. It was tolerable, watchable, but so much emphasis was put on the dancing side of things that the immigration story kind of falls by the wayside. Dance enthusiasts might like the final performance, but this one just didn't do it for me. Luckily, it's the shortest of the bunch. Coming in at number 4, Life Overtakes Me. This is another US submission, but it's a film from Sweden and was co-directed by Christine Samuelsson and John Haptus. This film focuses on a little-known and little-understood medical condition called resignation syndrome that's plaguing refugee children in Sweden. This condition, which seems to be brought on by traumatic levels of stress, essentially puts these kids in a completely unresponsive, coma-like state that can last for years. From a content side of things, I thought this was a really interesting movie. I'd never heard of the syndrome before, and so it definitely drew me in. The film's really personal and specifically focuses in on 3 families dealing with this syndrome, and it's a pretty downbeat movie. It's sad and tough to watch because we see these parents working their kids' muscles and taking them for walks outside in strollers. And all of this is juxtaposed with photos of these kids from when they were awake and normal, active kids. The material's there, but I just really didn't care for the presentation. It felt really intrusive, and there was an absurd amount of B-roll footage of snowy forests and rivers that did nothing but unnecessarily pad the runtime. Coming in at number 3, St. Louis Superman. Here we've got yet another submission from the US, and this one was co-directed by Smriti Mundra and Sammy Khan. This short focuses on Bruce Franks Jr., who's an activist and member of the Missouri House of Representatives. It recounts his story of getting into politics, which really started with protesting after the murder of Michael Brown, and follows along as he tries to get an anti-gun violence bill passed, while simultaneously continuing his career as a battle rapper. This one has a fairly strong core story to it, and Franks' personal journey is definitely impactful. It has a lot of sad and heavy elements to it, but ultimately maintains a slightly positive and inspiring tone. This is another one, though, where I wasn't a huge fan of the presentation. I guess there wasn't anything wrong with it, but it just felt very generic and familiar. Again, not a bad one, just nothing all that special to me. Coming in at number 2, In the Absence. This is yet another US submission, but is definitely a South Korean film, and was directed by Song Joon-yi. It tells the story of the 2014 Sewol ferry disaster, in which a South Korean ferry carrying almost 500 people, including over 300 high school students, sank. This film follows the timeline of the disaster, the botched rescue, and the aftermath of the sinking, and extensively uses actual footage, including some cell phone footage from students on board. I gotta say, I think this was the most compelling of the documentary shorts this year. It was tense, it was frustrating and enraging, and it was really sad. The use of actual footage was especially impactful. It makes a big difference seeing the sinking rather than just hearing about it. Footage from the rescue and recovery divers is stressful to watch, and the whole thing is just unsettling. They show the last text messages that some of these kids sent to their parents, and it's a tough one, but it's very, very interesting to watch, and it's put together in a way that highlights just how harrowing the situation was. So that means my number 1 documentary short of 2020 is Learning to Skateboard in a Warzone If You're a Girl. This is an Afghanistan set UK submission and was directed by Carol Dysinger. The short explores the very limited opportunities afforded to women in Afghanistan and focuses on a school in Kabul that not only educates Afghan girls but also teaches them how to skateboard. It features a lot of footage of the school, but also includes a number of interviews with the teachers and some of the students' mothers, recounting the extreme challenges of being a woman in Afghanistan during the Taliban rule. This film certainly deals with some important and heavy themes, but this was definitely the most positive and uplifting of the documentary shorts this year. It's such an unexpected and odd story, but it's very cool and inspiring. The girls are great, and you can't help but smile pretty much any time they're on the screen. They're really funny, and it's awesome seeing how excited and enthusiastic they are to be at school. And watching them learn to skateboard, it's so weird, but it's so great. Just seeing their huge smiles as they skate around and seeing the confidence that they gain from this school and how hopeful they are for the future, it's just really great. Alright, so that's my rankography of the 2020 Oscar nominees for documentary short subject. Have you had a chance to see any of these documentary shorts? If so, what does your ranking look like? I love to see some reasoning for your order, so be sure to post it in the comments below. Also, make sure to stop back later this week for my rankographies of the animated and live action shorts, as well as some more Oscar-related content. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this rankography, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe to see more rankographies like this, as well as movie reviews. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainely Movies, the way life should be.